The government's commitment to public education is frankly a joke. It's a crisis of quality, a crisis of funding, a crisis of political will. So what exactly has the government done to create this mess? Hey everyone, we all grew up hearing that education is the key, right? The path to better life, a stronger India. But what if the path is broken? What if the system itself is rigged? And the very people meant to fix it are actually making it worse. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on India's education system. This isn't some polished report. This is raw, unfiltered truth. And trust me, it's going to make you angry. Let's get straight into it. Quality. When it comes to how well kids are actually learning in India is not just struggling. We are falling dangerously behind. The latest UNESCO report for 2025 says we are off track in basic reading and math. Our own target for primary school kids to read properly is 56%. But the reality, it's way lower. Think about that. More than half of our young kids can't read even a simple text. Meanwhile, in high-income countries, nearly everyone can read by that age, almost 99%. Even our young South Asian neighbors are doing better, us on average at 49%. This isn't just a gap, it's a massive gaping hole. And here's another shocker. 21% of Indian teenagers aged 15 to 17 are completely out of school. In rich countries, it's less than 2%. We are literally leaving millions of our own youth behind. So why are we in this mess? A huge part of it comes down to money, or rather lack of it. The government's commitment to public education is frankly a joke. In 2023, India spent measly 3.1% of its entire national income, its GDP, on education. That's less than the UN's recommended 4%, and it's half of our own national education policy target of 6%. Countries we want to compete with, they are spending almost double what we are. The UNESCO report even says countries are moving backwards on education spending. This isn't just a little funding, it's deliberate starvation of our public schools. And you see it everywhere. While the official report might say over 90% of schools have basic stuff like electricity and gender-specific toilets, but the truth on the ground is different. The ASER 2024 report, which actually checks if things work, found that only 72% of government schools have usable toilets and just 77.7% have drinking water. What's the point of the toilet if it's broken or filthy? Many of these schools, especially in villages, were built back in 1930s and 40s and are literally falling apart. Leaking roofs, unsafe building, and the digital age. Forget about it. Only 57.2% of schools have working computers, and just over half, 53.9%, have internet. This massive digital divide means rural kids are being left in the dust. So what exactly has the government done to create this mess? And why does it feel like no government, past or present, has truly cared? The pattern is clear. The 2024-25 higher education budget saw a significant decline in net allocation, a drop of nearly rupees 9,625 crores. But here's the kicker. They have stopped all the crucial scholarships and student aid programs, no more interest subsidies on student loans, no more general scholarships for college and university students, gone. This isn't streamlining, it's direct attack on the accessibility of higher education for economically weaker section. And it gets worse. In 2025, the union budget faced a huge backlash for slashing funds for minority education. Schemes like the National Fellowship for Scheduled Tribes saw a mind-boggling 99.99% reduction in funding from 240 crore to just 0.02 crore. The post-matric scholarship for minorities cut by almost 70% from 1,145 crores to 343 crores. This isn't just a policy, it's a calculated move that directly hits the social mobility of the most vulnerable communities. Beyond the budget, there's the indicious political interference. Teacher appointments and transfers are often politically motivated, leading to rampant absenteeism. What's teachers' absenteeism? It's when teacher just doesn't show up for work. Plain and simple. Imagine this. In Arunachal Pradesh, Longding district, 11 new teachers were appointed in 2025, but only one showed up. The rest, they used political influence to avoid joining their assigned schools. This isn't just a few bad apples, it's a systemic rot. Academic appointments, even for the vice chancellors, are sometimes based on personal or political factors, not who's the best for the job. Curriculum changes frequently driven by political agendas, not what's best for the students. This kind of political interference is a grave danger to our academic institutions and intellectual life itself. Let's talk about corruption. Teacher absenteeism isn't just inefficient, it's a significant form of corruption, leading to a massive drain on resources estimated at over rupees 12,500 crores per year in 2010 alone. There are serious allegations of fees being exchanged for manipulating entrance tests, with amounts ranging from 6,600 rupees to 16.5 lakh for popular programs like computer science, medicine, and engineering. Reports even suggest that cheating in universities is well established. This widespread corruption acts as systemic enabler of inequality, ensuring that the benefits of education are disproportionately captured by those willing and able to pay, rather than those who genuinely merit them. And with public schools struggling, what do desperate parents do? They turn to private education. Private school enrollment has exploded, jumping from 21.4% in 2010 to a massive 46% in 2023. This isn't a choice, it's parents fleeing a crumbling public system. These private schools often operate with little oversight, hiking fees by over 50% in a single year, pushing families into debt. And while public schools are starved, the government seems to be actively pushing for private involvement. They are encouraging public-private partnerships, PPPs, and boosting funds for world-class institutions, which include private entities. Niti Aayog 2025 report even recommends PPEs to enhance infrastructure. This isn't about improving education for everyone. It's about turning learning into luxury and leaving the majority to struggle in a system designed to fail them. This desperation also fuels India's massive coaching industry, now worth around 58,000 crore, with limited seats in premier institutions like IITs, IIMs, AIIMS, NITs, and other top colleges. These centers offer specialized exam prep. It's an academic arms race where students often skip regular school, taking dummy admissions just to focus on coaching. The financial burden is insane. Middle-class families spend a third of their income on private tuitions. Average engineering coaching alone can cost 1.7 lakh per student. This brings us to the brutal reality of getting into the premier institutions. While admissions are supposedly based on merit, but the path to merit is heavily influenced by money. Success in these tough exams often requires expensive private coaching, which most people can't simply afford. Your family's income, their education, it all directly impacts your access to these crucial resources and ultimately your chances. So while the selection might be merit based, but the opportunity to build that merit is not equal. Richer families statistically have a much better chance of getting their kids into these top institutions, and the fees for these top institutions themselves have shot up. For example, the IIT tuition fees increased from rupees 90,000 to rupees 2 lakh per annum. And today, for a BTech, it can be around rupees 8 lakh per year. This plus the coaching cost puts immense pressure on families, often forcing them into huge debt. These debts can even stop bright students from pursuing PhDs, entrepreneurship or social sector jobs, pushing them into high-paying jobs just to clear loans. And then there's the massive rural-urban divide. Kids in villages face terrible infrastructure, outdated teaching and limited resources. They are 24% less likely to finish the secondary school and a shocking 40% less likely to go for a higher education compared to city kids. Why? Poverty, needing to work, early marriages, long distance to schools. This creates an intergenerational cycle of disadvantage, meaning poverty and lack of education just gets passed down. So there it is, India's education system in a deep crisis. It's a crisis of quality, a crisis of funding, a crisis of political will. The government's action or lack thereof have created a two-tiered system where your privilege often dictates your opportunity and the public sector meant for masses is left to rot. Until we demand a fundamental shift, until education is truly seen as right for everyone, not just a commodity or a political pawn, the dreams of millions will continue to be crushed and India will remain far behind its true potential.